Welcome back to GGTV, the program that's all about inspiring and empowering you to live more sustainably. And we're back at my great sustainable home, and man, we have made so many incredible changes over the last 9 months. We've ripped out shoddy old walls, we put in a PV system and rainwater tanks, grey water systems, insulation. It's enough to spin your head. But we've reached a fantastic point, but there's so much more still to do because we have to prepare for summer. We have to drought-proof the garden and we have to ready the house for the blast furnace of summer. And make no mistake, this is war. Steve, I cannot believe that Perth is built on this horrible, gutless sand.
It's so difficult for gardeners, Chris, but the good thing about sand is it has got good drainage. What we've got to do then is turn it into a real soil.
With that compost and soil amendments. But imagine what it would be like, poor old plants sitting in this in the baking, frying sun in the middle of summer.
Our plants really haven't got a chance. But I'm sure that we can turn it into something really quite special.
Absolutely. But Steve, it's one thing to improve the soil, but we've got some other issues we have to deal with, don't we? Water repellency.
We've got some of the worst soils in the world here.
And the trouble is, look at this, when we add that water on there, it's awful. It's the worst thing a gardener can see, all that precious water lost. But the trouble is, I guess, people have tried wetting agents, but many times haven't got them to work.
They've got to follow the rules.
And the rules are, step number 1, first of all, we've actually got to wet the soil first. That's really important. Wet it first. Number 2, we've got to sprinkle on our wetting agent. That's absolutely critical, of course, but then we have to activate it. We've got to make it froth.
Absolutely.
When it's frothing, it's working, it's breaking down the wax. So very importantly, then come back in about half an hour's time and check to see if the water is going in.
It's exactly going where we need it.
And we're obeying the 11th commandment, which is,
thou shalt use the water where it falls.
Absolutely. Awesome. You're good at this. Mate, I love the fact that more and more people are growing veggies, and myself included, and growing veggies in spring is easy compared to trying to do it in summer.
Summer's another whole ball game, Chris. It's important that we keep growing our vegetables during the summer period, but we've got to give them that bit of protection. And we can utilise the trees around us to give them some protection from that hot afternoon sun, or otherwise look at it using a 20 to 30% shade cloth.
And just break the back of that midday sun.
Just gives them the protection they need so they can stay lovely and glossy and green.
And they just produce healthier food for us too, don't they?
Absolutely. It's less stressed and you'll get a far better product.
All right, mate, let's go and have a look at the lawn. Now, the lawns need lots of care and attention through the summer. What we can do is add a wetting agent, or what's becoming really popular these days is to get a blended compost with wetting agent added, and you put that on, and with the back of the rake get it right down into the sward, and that's going to improve the drought tolerance and the disease resistance of your lawn. Okay, we've dealt with the lawn, now we're out in the full blast furnace of the sun, open to the elements. We've got to mulch the soil here, don't we?
Mulching plays such an important part in protecting our gardens over the summer period, but it's important to use the right mulch.
And you can see here, we've used it in the past, but some areas it's already broken down, so you've got to top up, don't you?
Absolutely. We've got to be reapplying it as it's required, and it's such an easy thing to do.
And so you're using a good rough coarse mulch here. This is pine bark mulch. So what's the benefit of this mulch?
This coarse mulch will provide a full proper insulation layer, just like the insulation that we use in our houses. But we'll let the water pass through, so it goes through the mulch, down into the ground where it's required, but protect it from this hot midday sun.
And I love that analogy of the insulation for our roof. This is the insulation for our soil.
They work in both the same way.
It's awesome. All right, mate, I'm going to leave you to do all of this. I'm going to have a bit of a lie down, okay?
Absolutely, no worries.
Okay, so we blitzed the garden. Now it's time to defend the home against the onset of summer, and we've rolled out shade cloth over the patio framework. We've put in shade sails. We've even draped shade cloth over exposed windows. We've moved our plants around so we have a natural air conditioner, and we're even growing plants up the sides of exposed walls. Another form of defense and a wonderful natural air conditioner. Okay, now that's done. Let's go inside and see some awesome things that are happening inside the house. We're halfway through the painting program at our place, as you can see, and I've got a young baby on the way and a young family, so indoor air quality is really important to me. We've gone for clay-based paints and natural floor polishes. I'm Just thrilled to have Dr. Peter Dingle here with us. Peter, why is that important for us to focus on those sorts of products?
Chris, first of all, congratulations. A new baby on the way.
Thanks,
but do you know
mate.
what most people do when that happens? They go, oh no, I'm going to paint the house. They paint the room blue and pink and all those, and I'm pulling my hair out, Chris. I'm pulling my hair out, and I'm saying that's the absolute wrong thing to do. Look, what happens is all of these paints, lacquers, varnishes that we readily put around the house give off volatile organic compounds, and that's literally hundreds of toxic chemicals.
Yep.
What we want to do is go for safer products.
Yes.
You know, we've been brainwashed literally over the last 50 years that it has to smell like a chemical, it has to smell like paint, and when you do, but you know, when you go to the painters out there in the real world, they've got problems.
Right. Yeah.
They've got literally neurological problems because of these toxic chemicals. So go for safer brands whenever you can.
So something like we've used here, the clay-based paints.
Absolutely.
So what can people do to try and limit this impact besides not going for the toxic chemicals in the first place?
Well, the first thing is to realise that if it's on the market and they're selling it to you, there's a 99% chance that it's got a whole raft of toxic chemicals in there. The second thing is to go for safer brands, and you've got to look around. The third thing is, and this is my rule, Dr. Dingle's rule number one, open the doors and open the windows. If you lock the house up, the chemicals that are still emitting, okay, 5-10 years later, accumulate in the house so it's 10-20 times higher than outside.
Yeah.
You're literally getting more toxins in the home in that period of time where you spend 12-14 hours at home than you are outside.
And that's lots of things, isn't it? It's TVs, it's the particle boards that are in our cabinets, all that sort of stuff.
Oh, look, absolutely. All the new furnishings, for example, will have fibreboard or particle board, and they're made up with urea formaldehyde glue. Now, formaldehyde is pretty well classified as a carcinogen. It causes cancer, and so all of that's going to off-gas. You lock the house up, it's going to off-gas. You get new furniture, it's going to off-gas. Then you've got all the new plastic things in the house, particularly new homes. You walk into a new home and your eyes cry. You know, literally water, and it's not the price of the house, by the way, nowadays.
No, that's right.
It's the chemicals. So my advice to people is when you get a new product, put it in the garage, take the plastic off it and let it off-gas for about a week in that warm air so it gets rid of most of those chemicals. If it still stinks, if it still smells, leave it out there until it doesn't.
So flushing, opening the windows and the doors every day, take advantage of the sea breeze or the easterly, just get it out through them.
Absolutely, yeah.
Peter, you're a legend, and I can't wait to be able to get you in for more things as we evolve this house.
A pleasure, Chris, and now you can take lots of deep breaths inside your home because it's better air.
Absolutely. Hear, hear. Sounds good to me. So now we know what's in it. Let's get painting. You ready, girls?
Yeah!
So that's it. We've done so much to try and transform this place. We drought-proofed the garden, we fortified the home, getting it ready for that summer. And these are such important things that we can do to make sure that this house is water and energy-wise through the long, hot summer ahead. And hey, that's it. We all have to go into battle against that cursed sun, which is going to make our lives so difficult if we don't do the right thing. But with these tips, I hope you can be more sustainable. Good luck. Great Gardens is proud to be sponsored by the Water Corporation, Synergy, Swan River Trust and Woodside.